going to be doing a time lapse of my Taurus sketch, which is a part of my Zodiac series. I'm going to be doing a giveaway of this print at the end of this video, so if you want to learn more about it, then stay tuned. At the same time, I'm going to be talking a little bit about time management when it comes to managing a side project. So time. There's never enough of it. My side project or side business is creating art. And finding the time to do that has always been a really big challenge for me. It's never just creating the art piece. When I think about my art business, I feel like there's a lot of components that go into it. So firstly, there is actually creating the art, which could take a ridiculous amount of time because I'm a little bit of a perfectionist when it comes to it. Something like painting a face could take me a few hours just to make it look somewhat human. Then there's also the component of actually running the business, so all the administrative duties that go into it as well. I'd say about only 1/4 of my art-related labor actually goes into painting and creating art pieces. The remainder of it is all the fun stuff that nobody likes to talk about. So this means basically putting in work to actually stay relevant, promotion, looking for places like shows to enter and writing up bios or descriptions for your art pieces, making a track record of all the expenses and sales that you actually make. Then there's also tracking of your sales and your expenses and your inventory and your schedules and deadlines. Then when you're creating art, there's also finding reference photos for when you don't understand how to draw or paint something, creating posts for social media, taking pictures of my paintings for my shop or my social media. Then there's also the fun errands that you get to do, like mailing, delivering, and picking up supplies. And don't even get me started on the website. God help me if that website breaks down one day, because I don't even know what I'm gonna do. Now keep in mind, this is just a side business. There's also the element of a full-time job. As much as I would like to just stay in my basement and paint all day like a little caveman, that's just not possible. At least not for me. That might work for some people, but I need a big girl job to pay the bills. Of all the things that I'm trying to balance, there's only a limited number of hours in a day to actually do all this stuff. I often find myself thinking, oh my god, there's not enough time. But then I catch myself and I think, but is there really not enough time? Let's just break this down into a math. There are 168 hours in a week. 30 to 40 hours are spent working my big girl job, assuming that I don't have any overtime. 15 hours are spent commuting. Assuming that I generously give myself 6 hours of sleep every single night, then that's another 42 hours spent in the week. Let's say I'm super efficient every single week and I spend 3 hours cooking and cleaning and doing all the housework that I need to. That totals up to about 21 hours in the week. Okay, and let's just be a little bit flexible with it and give yourself 2 hours every single day to do whatever you need to do, whether or not it means to pick up something or run an errand, buy groceries, I don't know. That is 14 hours a week. And if you break it all down, you still have 36 hours in a week to do whatever you want to do. And that 36 hours averages to about 5 hours every single day for you to do your side business or side project. And when I think about it that way, it doesn't feel as bad. I can essentially split up 2.5 hours every single day to do painting and then another 2.5 hours to do the administrative stuff. Now keep in mind, this is just an ideal scenario. And I know that this is not applicable for everyone and everybody's schedule is different. Obviously that ideal situation doesn't always happen this way. Life happens, things come up, you know, you might have other commitments that you need to factor in, and that might make your entire schedule go into a complete shithole. I find that just this concept of breaking down my hours and changing my mindset a little bit and just figuring out how many hours in a day that I have for free time to do my side project or side business, it becomes a little bit less overwhelming. It feels a little bit more tangible, like I can think about how many hours I actually have to work on something. And with that, I can better plan my schedule. Regardless of the limitations, I'm a very firm believer of making time for what you care about. So that means if you really care about something like creativity and it's something that you really want to prioritize, then that's something you're going to have to make time for. Telling yourself that I don't have time for this is really just an excuse. If you really cared, you'd make time. Think about the little free bits of time that you have in your life where you're just checking social media or texting someone or sneaking an episode of Game of Thrones. If you can make time for something like that in your day, then I'm pretty sure you can conjure up about like 30 minutes of doing something that is important to you. Even if you manage to fit half an hour in your 24-hour day of a hectic schedule, it's still better than nothing. With that being said, having the right mindset is the most important thing, but I also have some tips that might be helpful. So sacrifices. Sometimes you will have to make sacrifices for the things that you want to make time for. For instance, you might want to be a little bit more selective with your social life in order to make time for the projects that you want to work on. Creating a schedule for yourself is extremely important, and planning around large social events is a good idea too. So for instance, if you know that you're going to have an outing over the weekend, then you're going to be working a little bit harder during the rest of the week to make sure that you compensate for the time that you're going to miss when you're going on that outing. I would definitely recommend utilizing your calendar either on Google or using an Outlook calendar to schedule everything that you have going on. Planning ahead and putting major deadlines and events on my phone is really helpful. Being the hyper-organized cyborg person that I am, I would say that my calendar looks like it's on steroids about 90% of the time. Another tip is to set realistic short-term goals for yourself so that you're aiming to finish certain components of your project. If you have deadlines, set your goals to finish that a little bit earlier than the deadline is so that you can give yourself buffer time just in case you need to fix something. The last tip that I have is more so for art, and it might not work for every single project out there, but when I'm painting, I find that multitasking really helps. So when I say multitasking, I mean working on several pieces at once. For instance, I could be working on 4 paintings and working about 30 minutes on each one. So while I'm waiting for one layer of paint to dry on one painting, I could be making really good progress on another painting. This is actually fun for me sometimes because I like constantly changing it up, and I don't like being stuck with just one idea all the time. So hopefully some of that was actually helpful in terms of how to manage your time a little bit to actually do a side project. So like I said in the beginning of this video, I'm going to be doing a giveaway for a print of Taurus, and that is going to be happening on my social media accounts, Facebook and Instagram. All you have to do is like or follow my page, like the picture that is posted, and just comment on the picture letting me know if you are a Taurus, or if you know somebody is a Taurus and tag them, or if you just really like this picture and you want a print of it. I'm just going to be randomly choosing a winner on one of these accounts, so if you want more chances to win, then you can enter on both accounts. Anyways, that is everything. Thank you. Goodbye.